Hello, everybody. I thought I'd get on a little bit early because sometimes the live does a little countdown and then it makes me late. So, of course, today it went right on. So, I see Lauren P's on and I can see your comments. So, let me know if I'm lined up okay here and everything looks all right. And if you're on, I hope that you will put a comment on so I know that you're here. And while I'm waiting for 7 o'clock here, if you're on, I would love it if you could put in the comments if you've been on one of my lives before, if you have something that you picked up from one of my lives that you've actually implemented. Let me know that. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Janie. Thanks for joining in. So I'm waiting on hubby here to let me know if I'm lined up okay and if you can see me all right. Last time I was on, I did not see anybody's comments. It was really disappointing because you guys were actually there and I couldn't see you. So I'm so glad to see the comments and know that it's working correctly. Okay. Okay, great, Teresa. I'm glad you're here. Okay, so we have a lot to cover tonight. I actually got a really good response with a lot of questions. And okay, Lauren said the camera angle looks nice. Okay, that's great. So I'm going to dive right in and I'm going to tell you what the question is and who asked the question, and then we'll go over some of my tips for you. The first one was from Melanie Mixon, and she wants to know how to organize your day. Now, she said that she has trouble getting things accomplished, and she wanted to know if I thought time blocking was a good idea. And let me see if there was anything else she mentioned. Staying off social media. How do you do that? And then how do you avoid just going from one thing to another and basically not getting anything done? So I'm going to give you some of my tips to answer Melanie's question. So the way that I do it, and this may or may not work for everybody, I'm just going to throw out some ideas. The night before, I like to make out a list of things that I want to get done. It keeps me on task, but I know that there's no way I'm going to get that whole list done because I always have a ton of things that I want to get done, right? So I suggest putting a star by 3 of your items at most, and then also you can make sure and highlight or star the items that absolutely have to be done the next day. Now, let's say you have 2 items that you know you have to do, and you do 3 starred items. You'll have to fiddle around with that. That might be too many. But I think that a lot of times we get discouraged because our to-do list are way too long, and there's no way humanly possible to get it all done. My husband's really good about letting me know that I try to accomplish too much in one day. So make your list the night before. That'll get you in the mindset, so you're going to know what you're going to be targeting the next day. And then anything over that will be a bonus, and you'll feel really great that you got extra done. But it is really helpful to be able to get some things done that you know have to be done, and then you set the priority of what your most prioritized items are. Now, what I do for social media is I use that as a reward. So I'll tell myself, if you get all of this done, then you can go on social media for a while. So that might work for you. And another thing is with social media, if you only go on it at certain times during the day, and turn off those notifications so they're not distracting you from what you need to get done. So only go on at certain times and turn off those notifications. Hey, Melody. Yay! Melody's going to organize her basement tomorrow for a garage sale. Hi, Darcy. I'm glad you're here. Hey, my other Melody's here too. Okay, that's okay. She's got to run downstairs and back up. Don't hurt yourself. Okay, so another thing that I like to do to help me stay on target and get things done is I use a timer. And I use it for all different kinds of things, but I just wrote out a scenario here. Let's say you're overwhelmed and you're just not getting anything done and you feel like your whole house is disorganized. If you set your timer in 5-minute increments and start in the worst room, what looks the worst, and then just go at it for 5 minutes, and then when the timer dings, you can either go another 5 minutes if you need it or move to the next room. I like to.
Not broadcasting.
I'm not?
No. It shut down. I sent you a text.
Oh. Okay, my hubby just said I'm not broadcasting. So if anybody else can see me, can you let me know? Are you hearing me? If not, I'll have to start up a new live.
Melody says, I can hear you, I can see you.
Oh, okay. So it's okay, honey. They can hear me.
Mine's not working.
Oh, my husband's isn't working. I warned him to let me know of any problems because of last time. So, okay, well, I'm glad you guys can still hear me. Alrighty, so let's see. I came up with a little scenario here. We were talking about the 5-minute room tidies. That's what I call them. So if your timer goes off and you need another 5 minutes, you can do that, or you can just go boom, boom, boom through each room and get as much done as you can, and then maybe schedule another tidy for later on in the evening. Okay, good. I'm glad you guys can hear me. Alrighty. So if anybody's ever tried that, the 5-minute tidies, what I call them, you can let us know in the comments so we can learn from each other. Now, I'm not really a fan of time blocking because that's not my style, but I would encourage you, if you want to try it, Melanie, then to not go whole hog and try to schedule every single minute. In other words, maybe time block for the morning. This is what I want to get done between 8 and noon. And then for the afternoon, between 12 and 4, this is what I want to get done. And then between 5 and 8, this is what I want to get done. Although I don't encourage you to work all day long, but you get the idea. I think that if you're having trouble getting things done, if you micromanage every minute, you're not going to follow through with it anyway. And it's just going to be another overwhelming thing. So just try, if you want to try the time blocking, try bigger blocks of time. So I hope that's helpful. And I think I covered everything for Melanie. So let's see. Melody Little has tried it. And Melody Harass has tried it as well. She does 15 minutes. That's awesome. Okay. And has it been successful for you, Melodies? Let us know. Okay. I'm going to move on to the next question. This one is from Karen at the Mainer Mom, and she does have a YouTube channel, so you can check her out. And okay, good. Melody says, yes, it works. Okay, good. It works for me too. It just makes me feel more in control of my home and that I am actually accomplishing something and I'm not running around like a chicken with its head chopped off. Okay, Karen's question is, do you ever run out of room for your thrifting and crafting items? And what do you do with it all? And I also have a related question from Sherry in Iowa, and she wants to know, where do you store all your seasonal decor? So I thought I could tackle this all together. Oh, okay. Let's see. Melody can't see. Okay. Yeah, that's good advice, Lauren. This happens sometimes when I'm on with Denise Jordan live. We freeze up. So shut down and get back in. And same for Darcy. So I'm trying to. Okay, good. Let me know. Is everybody else still seeing me? So there must be something going on here because people are freezing up. But I know this happens with lives. Is anybody out there, or do I need to restart? Let me know. Yes, you can see me and hear me. Just want to make sure. Oh, Lauren's shut down again. Okay, and Melody, you can see and hear me. I don't know what's going on, but this does happen with YouTube Live. So I'll keep checking, and if I completely go out and nobody can hear me, then I'll have to go back on. Okay, great. All right, so we're going to tackle questions from Karen and Sherry. And first, I wanted to let you know about my crafts. I don't just keep everything that I craft. I do sell some crafts and I do make them for gifts. And then a lot of my crafts are seasonal, and I like to update my seasonal decor. I don't like the same thing over and over and over. Some stuff I do, like mostly vintage, but there's some items that I get tired of. And if that's the case, since I thrift and I shop, I don't pay top dollar, I shop sales, then I don't feel guilty about passing on my decor. My daughter takes a lot of my things that I get tired of, and I have a friend that takes things. So, what I'm trying to say is, I'm not afraid to move on from something and replace it with something I really enjoy and love more. So, that helps me when I craft and thrift. And when I thrift, I try really hard to only purchase the things that I know I can use, that I know I'm going to love. And sometimes I upgrade. So, like if I buy blankets, 2 blankets that are vintage, then I'll pass along 2 blankets that I don't love as much as the new vintage ones I got. So, hopefully that makes sense. All right, Darcy's back. Yay. Okay. And I just wanted to absolve you of all guilt. If you don't like something and it's not working for you, you don't love it, don't feel guilty about getting rid of it. There are people at thrift stores that would love to get something that you no longer love, or family members or friends. Or if you're brave of heart and want to have a garage sale, go for it. But I'm too old to have garage sales. They're too much work. I just like to go to them. Okay, so I'm constantly purging. And then as far as storage, my husband is amazing about making me shelves when I need them. And in our basement, he's made me a bunch of shelving units. And I use those big plastic bins with the lids, and then I label them. And I have multiple ones, especially for Christmas. I have multiple Christmas ones, multiple fall, maybe Valentine's Day, I just have a tiny one. You get the idea. And I even, like, say I have 2 or 3 Christmas ones, I'll even go so far as to put on the front of the bin what is in that bin. Not every single thing, but just general ideas. So that really helps. And then I started something new recently. In my den, I made room. I have an extra shelf in my cabinet, and I've started putting my decor that's not seasonal in there that I rotate in and out. And it could be things like candlesticks or bowls, something like that. So I have a place specific for that. He is amazing. Okay, my hubby said the YouTube app had an update today. Maybe there's a problem with the update. So I hope not, but I hope you guys can keep staying on and not keep freezing up. Melody wants to know where I keep all of my bins. So they are all in the basement, and I have 2 shelving units that I believe Lauren made the one specifically around the size of the bins, and then the other one, I just use it for an overflow. They just happen to fit on there as well. And so when I have a new season to decorate for, I bring up the previous season bin or bins, load everything up, take it down, and then bring up the new. So it works out really great. Okay. Next question is from Darcy at Organized by Darcy, and she's on with us tonight. Hey, Stephanie, thanks for joining. Glad to have you. We're just getting into a question that Darcy asked us, and she actually did a video on Hygge. I don't know if you've heard of it or not, but I did list Darcy's video in my description box. So after you're done watching the live, if you'd like to find out more about Hygge, her video is actually called Hygge Tips Week 7 of the 7-week series for maintaining an organized home. Now, I did watch all of the series, so if you want to see that series, I recommend it. It's really good. And so you could go watch the whole series, or if you're just interested in Hygge, finding out more about that, then you could just watch that video. But Darcy asked, how does Hygge relate to organization? And so I'm going to use Darcy's definition of Hygge, and she put this in her, it was in her comments. It says, Hygge is enjoying the simple things in life with friends and family. And I thought, wow, who doesn't want to do that? So that sounds wonderful. And what a great concept it is. So how does this relate to organization? Well, I came up with some ideas here, and some of them are relating to if these things are happening, then Hygge is probably not happening. And then the other things that I'll mention are that might help you have Hygge. So hopefully it'll make sense as we get into it. Okay. Oh, good. Darcy's here. Okay. And Lauren did mention that the one was built special for the bins. Yeah, he's amazing. Okay, so things that would impede us from having Hygge in our home. The first thing I thought of was if you aren't organized, then you probably aren't going to feel like you have time to enjoy the simple things in life with family and friends, or it's going to be harder because your things that aren't organized will maybe make your house messy, and you don't feel like having people over because it's too much work to get everything organized and looking good. So that could be one thing. And you're always going to be wanting to spend your time, well, not wanting to be spending your time organizing, but you're going to feel like that's a chain around that weighing you down. And it might make you feel like you don't even want to bother to have company. And then if you're having nagging thoughts about your unorganized things or your clutter hanging over you, then it's going to spoil the simplicity of life. So that's the best way that I could describe it. And then I thought from the other side, let's talk about what organization can do to help you have Hygge in your home. So if you have a simpler, cleaner home, it's going to be more peaceful, and that would facilitate Hygge, in my opinion. And also, if your home is not organized, you're going to be wasting a lot of time looking for things. So if it is organized, that'll save you time, and you'll have more time to live a simpler, peaceful life. And you'll be happier in your home, and that'll bring you more peace. And you'll just overall have more time to enjoy the simple things in life. And I think you would be more willing to share your home with others and have that um, have people over and visit with them. Hopefully, after COVID, we can do that again, right? Um, and also, Darcy mentioned in her video about alone time that that's part of Hygge, and I think that that would facilitate it if your home was organized and clean and clutter free. Then you would be more apt to take time for yourself and spend some alone time and get refreshed. So you can let me know if you have any comments or anything you want to add on that, Darcy. But that was oh, hi, Sandra. Thanks for joining. Okay, thank you, Darcy. I hope that's what you were looking for. That's just what hit me about it. Okay, I have another question, and this is, what do you do with a pile of stuff that you don't know what to do with? And this lady, it's Kristen Henning Art. That's the name of the channel. So if you are interested in art, you could look up her channel. She says partially finished projects and extra storage stuff that is empty. And I just never feel truly organized. So let me get a sip of water because I'm out here. Okay, so my first question for Kristen is, do you really want this stuff? That's what I would decide first. Sometimes we're just so focused on cleaning things up that we don't really take the time to think through whether we really want or love or need an item. So that might clear out some of this stuff that you're just juggling around, not knowing what to do with. Ask yourself that first. And then here's a suggestion. This might work for you, it might not. Decide where you would use that item or where you would look for it, and then store it there. Now, that might be something that you have to kind of think through the process of. And if there's more than one place, then you would have to make a decision for, well, I think this would be the best place to put it. And then here's another idea. Everybody's different, so I like to throw out different ideas. You could have a spot, either one spot for the whole house or one spot in each room if you have a lot of homeless items. And you could put your items in there, and that could just be its home. And then if you can't find something, you would look in that bin. Or you could put it in there kind of like a test and say, I'm going to leave this in here for a month, and if I never want it or never look for it, I'm just going to get rid of it. So that's another idea. And as far as partially finished projects, that's something that I just dealt with in my video, the Get It Done video. If any of you saw that, I had a couple projects. One was snowmen that I make out of clay pots. And I'm trying to remember what the other one was. Oh, Christmas trees out of like little wooden or kind of grapevine Christmas trees that I make. I haven't made them in years. So I've decided that if I don't make them this year, then I'm going to get rid of this stuff. So I need to put that on my calendar, probably around October or November at the latest, to get started on those projects. So again, Kristen, ask yourself, do I really want to finish these projects? I don't know why I can't say projects tonight. Do I really want to finish these projects, or have I outgrown them? Have I tired of them? Am I just feeling guilty because I spent money on it and I don't want to get rid of it? So there's somebody out there who will want your stuff, donate it, give it to your friend, whatever, and don't feel guilty if it's something you no longer are interested in. Chances are, if it's unfinished, you probably aren't that interested anymore. Or it could be a lack of time, So that's why I suggest the calendar, so that you can put it on the calendar and plan a time to do those projects. Okay, let's see what we have here. Melody said she likes the idea about storing for a month and deciding if you really need it in your life. Okay, good. I hope that's helpful for you. And that way it doesn't become really unsure. Now, some things I know everybody's going to say, I don't want that, and it's easy to let go of, but there's going to be those items where you're just not sure. So I do think that's a good way to feel more settled about a decision. Okay, let's see what else I had. Now, she also asked about empty storage stuff. I'm sorry, extra storage stuff that's empty. So in that same video, the Get It Done, I'll have to link that in my description box for you. I have a 3-bin stand on wheels. You've probably seen them. You can get them at Walmart or someplace like that, and you could roll it around if you wanted to, and it has bins. I also have one in my mudroom that I use for shoes, and they're just really great to have for different things. So I put all of my storage containers that are empty, that I'm not using, in this 3-bin stand, we'll call it. And then when I'm doing an organizing project, I can simply go down to the basement and shop my own little store. And that way I don't have to run out for bins, and I always have a supply. And I even have kept some things that were from products that are nice, tins or plastic containers or whatever, that have come in real handy for organizing. Now, there's a limit. So if you're just stockpiling and you're never using the same containers, like the same containers are always there in your area, then you might want to pass them on or get rid of them. But if you are constantly, using that type of container, then hang on to it. And another thing that I've noticed is every so often there'll be areas where you want to totally change how you organize it. So you might need a different size container. A pantry is a good example of that, because your buying habits might change. So you could use a different size container. So it's really nice to have, as long as you don't go overboard. And the key I've found is to put it all in the same place. So you can tell me what you guys think about that. Alrighty, and then along with that question, I'm just going to remind you that you do need to be decluttering regularly and donating or giving to a friend, or if it's garbage, get rid of it. The things that you don't use, don't love, don't use, don't want. And also, just a little tip there too, don't buy more than you need or more than you can use. So try to use up what you have. Okay. Is everybody still with me? Kind of nervous that I've lost you. So somebody can put a comment on there, I'll know, because I think, Melody, we did meet in a Facebook decluttering group, and it does really keep you accountable, because there's a thread there every month, and we post the things that we get rid of. And I don't know, it's just kind of become a way of life for me, that I save things in a pile. Like if I'm decluttering my papers, I save it all in a pile and I take a picture, and it's like my little reward for decluttering. I get to post that I decluttered something. And then when you see other people posting things, you'll think, oh, I could get rid of some of that stuff. So it's really great. Oh, lost me again. There must be something going on. Okay. My next question was from M. Ortiz, or Artez. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. And their question was, How do I declutter without making a giant mess that leaves me overwhelmed and paralyzed with my tasks at hand? Okay, she's back. Good. Oh, thanks, Sandra. Appreciate that. Okay, so this is a common problem that I've seen where you get all gung ho and you're going to clean up the whole house at once. So it doesn't usually work too good. And honestly, I don't know how you guys feel about the KonMari method, but I'm not a fan. That would not work for me at all. And if you don't know what that is, they want you to bring everything of one category from your whole house and dump it in the middle of the floor and go through it all at once. So books, you would get them from every single room in your house and do that. To me, that's just making a big mess, and you're probably going to get overwhelmed and discouraged and maybe give up and then have more of a mess than what you started with. So my ideas are, number one, set aside time every day to declutter, even if it's 5 minutes. You can get a ton done in 5 minutes. If you don't have time to do it every day or don't want to do it every day, then you could set a time once a week or twice a week and maybe make it a little more than 5 minutes. Overwhelming, yes. Yeah, can you imagine how discouraging that would be if you've just spent all this time getting all your books and put them in the middle of the floor? You're going to be worn out before you even get started. And then just the sheer volume of that category would overwhelm me. Okay, so we're going to set aside time to declutter. And then when you are ready to declutter, I would suggest you have a donation box ready. I actually keep one going at all times. And right now I have one in the basement. It's empty. I just emptied it out. My friend picked up all of her stuff the other day. And so have a donation box, and you could also have a box or even just a little bin, depending on how big the stuff is you're working on, to put in another room. So let's say you're working in your den and you find stuff that goes in your bedroom and you find something that goes in the kitchen. You could just put it all in that bin, and then make sure that when you're decluttering, you leave time at the end to take care of your things. The other thing would be trash. So if you have a trash bag or even a wastebasket in there, whatever. And so you've got your time set, say 5 minutes, you've done your declutter, and make sure you have time at the end so you don't have to run off to something else and leave all these boxes and garbage bags around. Make sure you take time to put the donation box back where you're going to keep it. Mine's in my basement. You could put it in a closet or an extra bedroom, whatever. And then take the trash and put it in with your trash. And then run around the house and put your items away. Now, if that works for your personality, great. That's kind of the way I do it. Here's another idea. Let's say you're not going to have the follow through at the end to do that, and you're going to end up with a bigger mess. Here is my suggestion for you. When you're in the room that you're decluttering, gather up all the things that you want to put in the kitchen. Run them right to the kitchen and come back. Gather up things for the bedroom. Run them to the bedroom and come back. Gather up things for the donation box. Stick them in the donation box. So, in other words, you're doing just wee little tiny steps at a time instead of making a bunch of decisions and having a bunch of things to do at the end. If that overwhelms you, then it may seem like a waste of time, but for you, it's not going to be a waste of time, and you're going to have a better end result, and you're not going to be overwhelmed. Aw, people keep losing me. Yeah, Melody is saying all of your clothes from the closet and drawers in a heap. I have watched that. Yikes. Yeah. It makes me kind of anxious when I watch that show to see all of that stuff in a heap. Now, if that's something that would work for you, I'm not against it, but I'm just thinking that for most people that would be overwhelming. Excuse me, I'm going to get a drink of water again. It's amazing how dry you get when you're talking nonstop. Okay, we covered that. And then here's another little tip. Let's say you've had your decluttering session and you have your donation box and it's full. Then put it in your vehicle and put it on the calendar, or make yourself a note what day you're going to drop it off. I do that all the time. I schedule it right into my errands. Thank you, Darcy. I appreciate that. Boy, we are flying through this, so I'm really happy that we have time for Darcy's other question. She just put a question on my community tab right before we came on live, and she wanted to know my best pantry organizing ideas. So I just have organized my pantry, and you might have seen it if you follow me on Instagram. I put a couple pictures up of all my shelves, and it's such a great feeling. I actually do have a small pantry, and then in our mudroom, we have these huge pieces of furniture. They're like closets, but with shelves in. And we have such a small kitchen that we expanded out into the mudroom. So I'm thinking about this area when I came up with a lot of these tips. So here's the tips that I came up with. I like to kind of organize my pantry, putting like items together. So you can kind of have zones. And that really helps when you're going to get into your pantry to find something. You'll have a general idea of where it is. Now, the next tip, I believe I may have talked about before. It's called the container concept. This is, marvelous. So the container concept I learned from A Slob Comes Clean. She has a podcast and she's amazing. So if you like podcasts, you could look her up. And her idea is you have a container for whatever it is. Let's say I do this for my black olives, and my pickles. And it's right now what I'm using is just an old shoebox. So you could get a pretty container. It doesn't matter. Whatever works, and you'll have to see what fits with the size of jars or whatever you're organizing. And I make a row of green olives, I make a row of black olives, and a row of dill pickles. When the box is full, I don't buy anymore. And it's just kind of like a visual cue. Now, another benefit is if you have a box or a bin in your cupboard, you can just pull it out and look at it too. So you could use it for a bunch of different items. Maybe you want to do a box for canned vegetables, and sometimes you have 5 cans of green beans and only 2 cans of corn, and you don't want them in rows. But you could just say, you could just label the box vegetables, and then you could just pull the box out. It's almost like a drawer, and see what you have, get out what you need, and slide it back in. So that's really helped me a lot. It helps me to stay organized, and it helps me not to overbuy. And also at a glance, I can just peek in to my little boxes and see what I need to make my grocery list. So that's been real helpful. Now, another thing, Darcy mentioned that she sees pantries that look great, but then the next time you see them, they don't look so great. So I think that the key there, sometimes we change up what we buy. So I doubt it anybody buys the exact same thing all the time and puts it in a pantry. Now, we probably have our core items that we do buy over and over, but we find that new potato chip or a new pudding or whatever. And so all of a sudden, this system that you've micro planned out just isn't going to work because now you have something different. Or even if you buy the same things all the time, now you've bought more. So what to do? So I like to encourage you to not micro plan your pantries and just have more of a, how do I want to say, like a container, like I said about the vegetables, don't plan your row of green beans here and your row of corn here. Have a spot for vegetables because everything's going to change over time. And then if you have just this designated spot and you buy something else, what's going to happen? You're going to just throw it in there and you're not going to know where to put it. So another way of saying it would be to have vague categories, and then you can organize within those categories according to what you have at that time. So does that make sense to anybody? And then another thing that I would suggest doing in your pantry is make the items easily accessible that you use the most often. So your items that you use every day, put them up in the front. Something that you use rarely, you could put in the back. So that's another tip. And then we can't just have it one and done. Not only in the pantry, but our whole house. You have to do maintenance. So schedule that into your weekly plan or your monthly plan. Getting dry again. I think my voice was going to start to squeak. Goodness, I have a frog. So you can schedule that as something that you normally do. Maintenance. Boy. Excuse me. I think I'm talking too much. I wish you guys could talk back to me. Okay, is anybody still out there or did I lose you guys? Give me a little comment or something so I know you guys are still there. Oh, I hope I didn't lose you guys. It's still showing I'm live. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that's another problem. When others live with you, things don't stay in the same place for sure. Yeah, so I think it depends on the personality of your family members. Some people might thrive on if you take the lead and show them a general area by labeling things, even if it's just a box. They might go along with the system, and other people are just going to do their own thing. So that way you're covered either way. If you have it arranged so you know where you want things, as long as you can do the maintenance, then you're going to need to tidy it. And you'll know what that time frame is. It might be once a week or might be once a month. You'll be able to see once you get started with a system. But I guess I would say just make it more vague. And I don't think the micromanaged pantries, I keep using that word. Do you know what I mean by that? Where everything has a specific slot or place. Those just aren't going to work over time. So Rachel's here. Hi, Rachel. And Sandra's still here. Good. Okay, thanks for letting me know. Okay, I got through that really quick tonight. We had a lot of questions, so that was a lot of info. And let's see, it's about 7:45. So if anybody has anything else they want to chat about, just put it in the notes and I can see it, and then we can talk about that as well. So I hope all this information was helpful. I tried to take a real common sense approach to organizing. And I think I told you guys before that I saw my mother being organized my whole life. And I just think I kind of got it through my genes. Now, my dad, he doesn't have an organized bone in his body. And he doesn't want to be. He doesn't have any desire to be organized. he doesn't see the need, and he's just a hot mess most of the time. So I'm so glad I got it from my mom and not unorganization from my dad. Okay, let's see what we have. Thanks, Darcy. I appreciate that. How can I organize a corner cupboard? Containers don't fit. Triangular cupboards. Both of my pantries are like that. Ooh, that is a tough one. My mom has two corner cupboards, and they're just really, really awkward. So what we've done for her is we don't use that as a primary source of everyday use, except for, I don't know if yours is like this, Melody, but it's got almost like a lazy Susan or a tray. And when you open the cupboard, there's things on the top shelf and the bottom shelf that are right in the front, and you can reach in and grab. So we put her, let's see, like aluminum foil and plastic wrap and stuff like that she can reach right in and grab. And then for the rest of it, we put things that she doesn't use often because there's just not a really good way to get to it. My mom is super organized. You know, she's 86 years old, and usually she can find something in her house, which is a wonderful blessing. Yeah, do you have a lazy Susan in there? I forget, Melody, because I know we talked about that another time. I know it's been the bane of your existence. I guess my mom's is a lazy Susan, but still, I don't know. It's just awkward to get stuff in there. Even with the lazy Susan, it's hard to put it in there so it doesn't fall out. It's just a really awkward space. Oh, they are attached triangular shelves. Okay. Can you use containers at all that you could use as your own drawers like I was recommending for an irregular pantry? Or would that be awkward as well? In other words, so you would have a way of sliding things in and out. With it being triangular, I'm not sure. They are attached triangular shelves. Yeah. Melody, do you think you could use some type of containers that would slide in and out? I don't know. That's my first thought. She has a small shoebox style container for jellos, etc. And are you able to slide them in and out, or is it just really awkward because of the shape? Ooh, okay. Rachel has a Lazy Susan corner cabinet, and she puts her pots and pans in there. Yeah, attached ones would be tricky. Okay, so Melody's saying her boxed goods and pastas won't fit. They are deep, and the opening nearest the door is not wide, so hard to get containers in and out. It's awkward. So it sounds like you would have to use it for really small items, like Jello. Does anybody else have any other ideas? I don't like corner cupboards. I don't think I want them in my kitchen. So it sounds like my mom's work really well compared to yours, Melody, and I don't even like hers. No, you don't want them. Okay, I'll keep that in mind when I'm doing my new kitchen. We're at the stage right now where my husband's drawing up a floor plan, and then we're going to try to meet with some people and decide on cupboards and flooring and all of that. So it's been 30 years coming, and our kitchen really needs a makeover. Okay, anybody else have anything? What about special dishes, or like you said, things you don't use often? Okay, do you have, Rachel, do you have high cupboards that you could put them up out of the way, or any type of, like behind me? I put a lot of mine in there. I have a hutch and I have a jelly cupboard? And if you don't, like, and there's just no space in your base or in your kitchen, do you have a basement or a storage closet where you could organize them so that you could get at them pretty easy and just keep them off site from the kitchen? I used to do that before we had our mud room. I actually had a whole spot in my basement for overflow, and I would prioritize what I kept in my kitchen, my most used items, and I put extras in the basement, even extras of food items, non perishables, and aluminum foil and stuff like that. Oh, okay. Sorry, Rachel. I thought that was a new question. So Rachel's wondering if Melody could use her corner cabinet for special dishes. Okay. Darcy likes that idea. So Melody is saying, "Oh, thanks, Rachel. I wish our other cupboards are filled with other items, glassware, plates, etc." Okay, so Melody, do you think that you would have any of those things in your regular cupboards that you don't use often that you could put in the corner cupboards? Like make a swap, maybe, and put some of the less used items in your corner cabinet? That's a really great idea if it would work for you, because it's something that you're not going to have to dig out very often. Another idea that just came to me, and I don't know if this would work because I'm not quite sure of the size of the height of the cupboards, but could you put any of those little shelves, like the wire shelves that you use for plates and stuff, to kind of give you more of a like a double decker effect, and you could maybe double your space? I don't know. Okay. So Melody is going to assess the situation and see. That gives you some ideas. I was listening to a podcast the other day that this reminds me of. It was an organization podcast, and they said, think outside of the box when you're thinking about the rooms in your house. And this one client of theirs, they didn't need their extra bathroom, so they stored their sporting goods in the bathtub, like their golf clubs and stuff like that, which I thought was kind of funny. But really, you can think up other ideas for cupboards as well. Oh, take the doors off. Would that help? I think Melody, if I know her, she's going to say she's not an open door kind of person. She likes things behind doors and not showing. Like, yeah, not out in the open. What do you think, Melody? Am I right? Do I know you well? Yeah. So, yeah, this podcast, it was really, really interesting, I thought. And I've actually done that like with our extra bedroom. I made it into a craft room and it's been working out great. Carol knows me, don't like the look of clutter. Yeah, I didn't think you'd go for that. Yeah, it is easy to get in a rut. And their point on the podcast too was because that's what the house was made for. You have to use it that way, is what people get a mindset of. And I don't think I would want golf clubs in my bathroom. That's pretty extreme. But I've had a great time turning my extra bedroom into a craft room that also doubles as a guest room. And it's just really doubled the function of that room just instantly. Okay, well, is there any other questions before we sign off? I don't want to keep you too long. I appreciate every one of you coming on and participating. It means a lot to me that you guys came, and I hope you got some good tips. And I thank you, all of you that gave me questions. It was great. I love it when I get questions. So I'll put up another one for, let's see, it'll be September. Oh my goodness. And see if I get any questions for that. And I'll have it the first Wednesday of the month again at 7 p.m. You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, if there's no further questions, I'm going to sign off. Thank you all again. Oh, thanks, Darcy. Yeah, whatever the first Wednesday of September is, that'll be the next one. I should have gotten the calendar out. Does anybody have a calendar handy that they can tell us that date? Let's see. I have my phone in my pocket. I have a calendar on there, so I'll check that. What would we do without our phones? They have everything on. Oh, thank you, Melody. September 2nd. Okay. So let me know in the comments too if you like this and you want to do it again. I'll do it as long as people want to have it. Okay, May the 2nd. You're very welcome. Thanks for joining me. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.